Hello guys, and welcome to another video. In this one we're going to be talking about another new unique that's come into the game in the trial of the Ancestors League, and that's the Kiloava's Bluster unique shield. I believe this is exclusive to the trial of the Ancestors League mechanic. I think that it drops as a rare reward from defeating Kiloava. It might need to be in the final match, I'm actually not too sure. So let's actually take a look at the new unique shield, let's see what stats it has. So it's got quite high evasion rating and some chance to avoid elemental ailments along with some increased chance to block. And then it has this very special modifier right here. 30 to 40% chance for elemental resistances to count as being 90% against enemy hits. So the shield has decent amount of evasion, a decent chunk of block as well. And you've got some chance to avoid elemental ailments, which may be useful depending on your build. And the special modifier that provides a chance for elemental resistances to count as being 90% against enemy hits. Now, I'm not a very big fan of chance-based defenses, but that doesn't mean that this shield can't be useful. When an enemy hit comes in, it has a chance to count your resistances as 90% for the purpose of the damage being taken from that hit. And this means that regardless of your current resistances, when this modifier procs, it will use the 90% value, and that's a fixed value. It doesn't matter what kind of resistances you have at the time of taking that hit. For example, things like curses or exposure, which lowers your resistance, won't apply when this modifier procs, as it will take the fixed 90% of value. However, penetration would still be applied to the 90% value. So firstly, let's look at how effective this mod actually is relative to other options. The best comparison to be made realistically has to be with Saffell's Frame, another unique shield which provides 4% to all maximum resistances. However, these two shields have very different stats when it comes to all of the other things that they provide. Because Kiloava's Bluster has a large amount of evasion rating, along with lots of attack block and elemental ailment avoidance, while Saffell's Frame has the modifier that it can't block attacks, but instead provides a large chunk of spell block, some spell damage and elemental resistances, and a mediocre amount of armor and energy shield. And these differences are important because the two shields will appeal to completely different builds. But for now, let's compare the maximum resistances modifier on Saffell's Frame with the special chance-based modifier on Kiloava's Bluster. Now, on a maximum roll of 40% chance, the Kiloava's Bluster shield will provide an average of 6% to maximum elemental resistances if the character has a base 75% maximum elemental resistances. With lower maximum elemental resistances, for example from an item like Eternal Damnation, or from a debuff like the Searing Exile Grace, which lower character maximum fire resistance by 5%, Kiloava's Bluster's chance-based mechanic becomes more and more effective, whilst increasing the baseline maximum resistances will make it less effective. Over a test of many hits of the same amount of elemental damage, a character with Kiloava's Bluster would take an average of 9.5% less damage than with Saffell's Frame if they had 75% elemental resistances, with no other defensive properties accounted for. However, it's important to note that Saffell's Frame provides consistent, reliable damage reduction, and its maximum resistance bonus also applies to any relevant damage over time effects, such as Ignite, Cold Snap, or Burning Ground. And Saffell's Frame also provides its maximum resistance bonus to Chaos Resistance too, which is a nice upside. But I do think Kiloava's Bluster is far from useless, and it's going to be quite effective on a character build on the right side of the passive skill tree that can make use of the evasion and potentially the ailment avoidance modifier too, while they're also likely to be spell suppression capped and have limited or no access to modifiers which increase maximum resistances, which makes Kiloava's Bluster even more appealing. Due to the nature of the chance-based mechanic on Kiloava's Bluster, I think this item will be more useful in a mapping setting where the character will potentially be hit more often and by a variety of different hits, rather than the typical slower, bigger hits of bosses. And that's it, a first look at the new unique shield, Kiloava's Bluster. I think there will probably be some useful combinations with other unique items, so I may do another video about this one soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.